Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvadidam Gaganasadasham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvade Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahidam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
Okay, amazing. And we're live with this first introduction podcast to Nithyanandam. So I want to start by introducing everyone to Nithyanandam, and before that give a quick excerpt as to how I found Nithyanandam.
It's Nithyananda. Paramahamsa Nithyananda. Nithyanandam is actually the greeting that we use, which means be eternally blissful.
Okay, great. So already the first correction on my part. So my friend, who's an excellent musician, turned me on to Nithyananda. He sent me an email saying, you have to go to the temple and do an Akashic reading. And I actually came and met one of the Sanyasis, and the person doing the Akashic reading wasn't there at the time, but they did a body scanning for me, which we'll get into later. I was actually in a rut in my life, and that email came at the exact same time. And this was probably 3-4 months ago. And personally, I can say it's a 180-degree switch from where I was before to where I was from now. So I'm here sitting with Sanyasi. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Nithyananda, my name is Sri Nithya Kritananda Maharaj.
Correct. And then we also have a devotee,
King Sahil,
who I also met in my early stages. So for those who are new and don't know what we're talking about, what is Nithyananda?
So, Nithyananda is a being. His name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda. He's an enlightened being, and he's living in India right now. We practice the philosophy called Shuddhadvaitam, which is oneness and expressing powers through oneness. And it's the one branch, one leg of Adi Shaivism, which is also a branch of Hinduism. So you can see how specific we are.
Yeah.
So he's an enlightened master, and he has devotees all over the world, and we're all looking to attain the same space that he radiates, which is the space of Nithyananda, eternally blissful, which is also the space of enlightenment. And so we have seekers all over the planet looking for him as the solution to all their everyday problems and stuff like that.
Okay. So people can probably tell from your accent that you're not originally from India, is that correct? Or?
No, I was born and brought up here in Toronto.
Toronto, Canada. Okay, so how did you yourself find the role and path to Nithyananda?
That's a very long story.
Okay.
But to make it short, my dad was following him back in 2008, 2009, and Swamiji, which is how we affectionately call Paramahamsa Nithyananda, we call him Swamiji. He's been doing satsangs, which are spiritual discourses in Tamil, and my background is Tamil. Okay. And so my dad used to follow him on YouTube. And I knew of him, I knew of his existence then, and I knew that my dad, if he's following him, there's something valid and truthful there. But I was not in the receptive mode back then, to be able to appreciate what he's teaching. So I went through my own sort of phase. I think that at that time I was just heading into university, and when I was in university, I went into seeking mode, because the whole system within the university did not jive with me, and so I was pushed into the seeking role, and I was searching for, life's toughest questions, like what is life about, why are we here, who's really out there, can they actually see us, and stuff like that. All these questions were popping up inside me, and I was looking to various different means, there's a New Age movement that I first looked into, and I looked into the law of attraction, and I watched the movie The Secret, and various other teachers that teach similar, or basically the same sort of philosophy. And then went into this whole new realm of what we call light workers, and I was into that sort of movement as well. And then eventually that led me to aliens, believe it or not, and then that led me to Swarupa Priya, which is one YouTuber we have in Sangha that basically bridged the gap between where I was to Swamiji. And then when she was telling me through the video, she was telling us to watch Swamiji's videos and do his programs, just by the way that she was holding herself and the grace that she was exuding through her video, I was already convinced. I'm like, whatever she's doing, whatever she's listening to, I have to have that too.
Yeah.
And then so I made the shift to start watching Swamiji's videos back in, I guess it was like July or August of 2014. And I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working or anything like that. I was in a similar, like, sort of rut.
Yeah.
And so I had all the time in the world to watch Swamiji's videos. And so I was watching like the full day worth of videos every single day. And I can say I pretty much covered most of the videos that is on his channel and stuff. And then at some point I'm like, okay, I can't keep watching videos. I need to go see him.
Yeah.
And then, so I went to see him in November to do a yoga teachers training program, because I was looking to see like yoga as my path of actually figuring out a means to make a living here while doing something that I believed in. And
see him, sorry, means this is in India, in Bangalore, is that correct?
Yeah, the teachers training was in India, in his ashram.
In his ashram, okay.
Yeah. So, and even that was a sort of like a mystical sort of happening, because I wanted to do a program back in October, and by the time that I wanted to I fully decided inside myself, it was basically like just 2 weeks left to make it there, and that was enough time for me to make the money. And it seemed to be a bit of a burden for my parents.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I can't do this. So I went to my brother's room and I was sitting at the desk, and I just sort of like closed my eyes and I said, okay, Swamiji, I tried to come see you. I don't know how to get to see you right now. Like, give me some other way. And I put my head down, and then I noticed I felt something. I brought my head up, and then I was checking my phone, and there was a red light beeping as if there was a notification.
Yeah.
It wasn't there before, but after I put my head down, it started coming. And then, believe it or not, it was just an email from Swamiji saying, Nithyananda, Yoga Teachers Training. Please come for November. And it was half the price of the program that I wanted to do, so I could get the money for that.
Wow.
And poof, I was there.
This was from his office or from himself directly?
From his, his back end, the office work.
Wow. Okay. So, Swamiji, as he's fondly called, means?
Swami, and as a Sanskrit word, means master.
Okay.
And G is just an affectionate way of, just adding G to anything makes it more affectionate.
So Master G.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And his real name is Paramahamsa Nithyananda.
Yeah.
And so, from what I know, he's considered an avatar. Right?
Yeah.
And how early did he find these powers? How many powers does he have currently?
It's hard to say that, because like at this point you can even mix and match powers. So you can you can say it's just, if you want to quantify it, like we've documented, not from him, but like from our, the Shastras, our scriptures, we've documented about 463.
Okay.
But we know there's many more, because, in Hindus, the history of Hinduism, all our libraries, all our scriptures we're living with basically 10% scriptures that we used to have.
Okay.
So based off the 10%, we have 463 documented powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who was Swamiji's guru?
Swamiji's guru, his name was Arunagiri Yogeshwara.
Okay.
And he was an avatar of Lord Shiva himself as well. And he was, he brought him up in Tiruvannamalai temple, Arunachaleshwara temple. Yeah.
Okay. So, Swamiji, from his guru, how much of his knowledge do you think is retained with Swamiji? Because usually the student never surpasses the teacher.
Not in Hinduism. I mean, when you become enlightened, you basically become the updated version of all the knowledge in the cosmos. So since we're in the phase of the cosmos where we're expanding, the most current incarnation is the most updated, most powerful version, because the cosmos before was not as expanded as it is right now.
Correct, yeah.
When you're enlightened, you've attained whatever it is that the cosmos has to offer. So since it's expanded now, technically speaking, you should be more powerful than before.
Because if the cosmos is always growing, so should you be as well. Right?
And, gurus they work by infusing whatever they have into the next being.
So he's stronger and more powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. So getting into these powers, because I mean that's what fascinated me. I remember sitting with you once at the table at the temple, and a gentleman had come in. I think he was a devotee, and he was really stuffed up. He was coughing, sneezing, had a cold, flu-like symptoms. He had a light fever, and you did body scanning on him, and you asked him. You said, "Do you by chance sleep with the window open in the middle of the night? I think that's what you saw in your vision." And he said yes. And you told him that's not the exact cause, but that's attributing to some of your sickness. And then you gave him a herbal remedy to follow. And so this power you did on me as well, and I know on a bunch of other devotees at the temple. So this is something that Swamiji has as well. And to channel this, you're actually channeling it through Swamiji, right?
Yeah.
Every time you...
So our third eye is connected to his third eye.
Okay.
So whatever he's able to express through his third eye, and third eye, for those of you listening, is basically the portal to infinite knowledge.
Okay.
It's basically your sort of receiver to infinite knowledge. So because we're initiated by him, our third eye is entangled with his third eye. And so it expresses because he's able to express it.
Okay, so he's passing on that portal to the superconscious, which is flowing through him to you as well.
Yeah.
And it's like a switch, you can turn it on and off. Wow, that's amazing. What are the powers? I mean, I hate using the word power because it's sort of maybe Hollywood and glamorizes it, but I think it's significant also because compared to everyday life, a regular person would see this as unusual power, supernatural power. But in your world, this is normal.
Yeah, and the world that we came from, it was... Because, we're in Hinduism, we see time as like different stages, but it's in a cycle.
Okay.
So we're coming out of a cycle called the Kali Yuga, which is the age of darkness, where most of us are just in total delusion about what life is all about. But at some point we're entering into the next phase, which we call within the Sangha, we call it Nithya Yuga, but traditionally speaking, they call it Satya Yuga, which is the age of truth.
Yeah.
But this age of truth happened some time ago, and during that time itself, we would have experienced all these powers, which would have been a very normal lifestyle to have this sort of stuff. That's why when you look into the Puranas and stuff like that, most people see them as myths, but we understand them as they actually happen that way. So if you see any of the powers that, for example, Hanumanji was able to grow to 30, 40 feet tall. This is actually one power that we're manifesting called Mahima. So obviously we're not at the same level right now to be able to go 40 feet tall, but the concept is the same thing. If you're able to grow 3-4 inches taller, poof, it's a conscious breakthrough.
Correct. I mean, there's so many other powers to get into, which we won't get into on this podcast. It's almost like I'm setting up a teaser here because each of them is a podcast in itself. But some of the things are Akashic readings, which is a space where you can go to access past, present, and future information, because in there is no concept of time. It's just one is everything. Remote vision, command over matter, those are some other things. Neuroplasticity of the brain, right? Those are some things, and we're going to get into on other podcasts. The temple here is in Scarborough.
Yeah,
right.
1960 Ellesmere Road, which is between Markham and Bellamy, or if you're not aware of the region, it's between Markham and McCowan on Ellesmere Road.
Okay, and the temple is 24 hours?
No, we have closing time. You shouldn't expect to be able to come in after 10 p.m.
After 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. And you start off with yoga, right, in the morning?
Yeah, we have 5:30 yoga.
Okay.
And the yoga that we do is obviously a little bit different than yoga that's been traditionally, well, not traditionally, but practiced here, the modernized version of yoga. The context of our yoga here is to basically fine-tune your body to be able to express the powers, the state, the space, the being of being the ultimate.
Correct.
So it's basically molding you to be the best receiver possible.
Okay. Because with fine-tuning the body, that opens the space and energy for the mind, right? For that energy to flow. And then on weekends you also have
we have
sessions as
programs
well,
like
right?
on Saturday we have one program called Kalpataru, which is the meaning of the word is basically wish fulfilling. So it's our science of manifestation, how to manifest your reality. It's going to be taught in Kalpataru, and it's a great program. It's free, and it's going to be about, I think, like 6 or 7 hours worth of information. It's a heavy program.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to attending that. I actually myself attended the wealth creation workshop, and that was amazing. My life changed the next day. Not financially, I know it has for some, but the mindset of wealth definitely changed. And we're going to get into that in later podcasts as well. There's so much to cover. We're going to have to end this soon. How can people get in touch with you? I guess if they Google the temple, they'll find the number there. Is there a Facebook?
If you actually, we have a Facebook page for the temple itself, so you can search up Toronto, Nithyananda Petam Toronto Adinam. So Nithyananda, Nithyananda, Petam, Peetam, and then Toronto, you know how to spell Toronto, Adinam, Aadheenam. And then you can find us there, or if you want to just search my name up, because you can expect me to answer all your questions, because I'm a monk here. That's basically what I do.
Correct, yeah.
Right. So my name is Sri Nithya Kritananda Maharaj. So Sri, S-R-I, Nithya, N-I-T-H-Y-A, Kritananda, K-R-I-T-A-N-A-N-D-A, and Maharaj, M-A-H-A-R-A-J.
Okay, amazing. And just finally, before we end off, we started this podcast with a chant.
Yeah.
Can you explain to everyone who's listening what's the significance for that chant, the importance of that, where it comes from?
That chant is the invocation of the master. So his presence, his energy, so he can best guide this podcast to where it needs to go. And just a constant reminder of his energy, his space, his knowledge will allow you to manifest the best thing possible for you, because you're now tuning yourself to his energy.
Correct. And manifesting is where we're probably going to go on to the next podcast. So thank you both, to Sri Kritananda Maharaj, and to King Sahil, who's here as well. And for myself, we're signing off, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed day, and Nithyananda.
Nithyananda.